Hey, what's going on out there, football fanatics? It's your main man, Tommy, on the spot. Welcome to the first of two editions of the Football Drive, the first editions of the season. Last week I had a whole bunch of stuff going on. I had 3 videos that I did. I did one on the Survivor Pool. I did one on the picks against the spread for the week and an NFL preview, and it all went and not in a good way. I don't know how you could blow up in a big way, but I did. It was tough. We had some major technical issues. I couldn't get stuff uploaded. It was frustrating, so I did post my picks as well as my Survivor Pool advice on my Twitter at Tommy on the Spot. Make sure you give me a follow, because a lot of times you'll find the links for this directly in the on my Twitter feed. You'll also get to follow along with me on a Football Sunday, which I feel like is fun, going through all the different games. I'm a huge football fan. I've been a huge football fan for a long period of time. If you're not sure what this Football Drive is, well, normally this is the Wrestling Drive. Normally I do a wrestling car vlog each and every week, a couple times a week, talking about all things in professional wrestling, the biggest stories, results, and kind of feedback from the biggest shows. But I decided to add a little bit on professional football because I love it, and I've been a huge fan all my life. I think it was, about 14, 15, 16 years old. My father introduced me to the spread and said, son, pick one team every week against the spread, and we'll continue to build our money each and every week. And ever since then, I've fallen in love with it. I'm going to get to the picks in a different video, though. What you're looking at here is your Survivor Pool. This is something I discovered a long time ago. If you don't know what a Survivor/knockout pool is, I'll explain real quick. A lot of these still you can jump into. There might be a bit of a there might be a little bit of a they might be closed on certain aspects, or maybe there'll be a penalty, maybe you'll get a strike, something to that extent. But normally the way it works is you pick one team each and every week to win, straight up, no spread, no points, nothing. Pick one team each and every week to win. If you get it right, you survive, you move on to the next week. The catch being that once you use a team, you can't pick anyone else. You can't pick that team ever again for the rest of the season. So let's say last week you picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won. They had a good win against the Browns. Can't use them for the rest of the week, though, so they're off the board. So what we're going to do here is, I noticed there's a lot of different little vlogs and different little podcasts about picks against the spread. Fantasy sports ain't really my thing. I love fantasy baseball. Fantasy football, I can't deal. I was sitting with some friends watching last week's opener, and 1 minute they're rooting for Tom Brady, and the next minute they're rooting for Travis Kelce, but they're not rooting for Travis Kelce to get a touchdown because they also have New England's defense, so they need Travis Kelce to get to the goal line but not actually in to get a touchdown. Or if they did get one touchdown, at least that wouldn't be so bad, provided that New England. It was the most confusing thing ever. If that's your deal, and I know it's a lot of people's deals, more power to you. It's just not really my thing. My thing is much more these Survivor pools, and there's a great deal of strategy that goes into this. So what we're going to do is each week I'm going to give you guys 1 or 2 really surefire, safe picks. You want to go against the grain, however, I'm going to also give you one choice. If you're looking for that team kind of against the grain that maybe you're not going to pick down the stretch, I'm going to give you that team as well. So you've got 3 choices of who to pick on your Survivor pools each week. And then I'll tell you some teams to stay away from. Each week there's always a kind of a suckery pick, like the Bengals. If you picked the Bengals last night, and I think they said like 1% of all people playing Survivor pools picked the Bengals last night. They're out of luck. Despite the fact that they were home for a second straight week, they still didn't score any touchdowns, despite the fact that the Texans had no tight ends, only 3 wide receivers, and a rookie quarterback starting on 4 days' notice. They still found a way to win the game. So that happens. So with that being said, let's jump right into this week. There's probably 2 surefire slam diggity dunk picks this week, but they're really good teams, and they're teams that maybe you want to have in your back pocket later on this year. The first choice this week, the lock of the week, without question, I hate to do it because I love my Jets, is going to be the Oakland Raiders. That is the choice. Don't overthink it. If you want to survive this week and move on to next week, it's the Raiders. And that blows because as a Jet fan, this isn't even going to be competitive this week. It stinks. I feel like if the Jets had won last week, they could have maybe started the season 4-1 based on their schedule. This still would have been the one. They're not going into Oakland and getting a win. I wish I could tell you they would, but they're not. And without any points, that is your surefire pick. You're looking for another safety net. you got to go with the Seahawks. Seahawks lost last week. They're home now. They welcome in the rival San Francisco 49ers, but the Niners didn't look very good last week at all. I don't love the team. I know they have some pieces, but still have Brian Hoyer at quarterback, and the defense of Seattle is just, oh man, it's phenomenal, and I don't expect much to change. I think that they're gonna just stifle the holy heck out of the Niners. I thought the Niners maybe would put up a little fight since they've done it in week 1 for the previous 2 seasons. They had nothing last week. I don't expect much this week. You can go with the Seahawks, you can go with the Raiders. Those are probably your 2 top picks. If you're going against the grain, however, might I suggest you take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As a matter of fact, if you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers schedule and you want to pick them because you think they're one of the top 20 teams, because if you're going through this towards the end of the year, you'll probably need to choose 2 teams if you want to win your league. So with that being said, if you do want to eventually utilize this team as one of your top 20 teams to pick, this might be a week that you jump on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are home. They're home for their first game. They obviously have been going through a lot in Tampa Bay. Not to say Tampa Bay is a great home base, or not really much of a home field advantage either in baseball or football. But with that being said, I think the Tampa Bay Bucks are a team to utilize this week. This is their gimme week. Bears are not very good. I'm not a big believer in Mike Glennon. I think he's on borrowed time already, which sounds insane, but even though he's going to be amped up because he's going to want a little bit of a revenge game, I'm sorry, there's just not enough there for the Bears. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Tampa Bay is an improving team. They're a young team. Now they have Deshaun Jackson in there to line up next to Mike Evans, so Jameis Winston has weapons out the his ass. They're going to fly up and down the field. I love the Tampa Bay Bucks this week. If you want to pick them, I think you'll be pretty good. On the other side of things, teams to stay away from. A lot of big belief that New England bounces back in a big way. They likely will, but Drew Brees and the Saints are 3-1 against Tom Brady and the Pats straight up. And there's always a home field advantage when you're at Who Dat Nation, when you're in New Orleans. So I would stay away, especially when you consider the fact that the Patriots have games coming up against the Jets. Just saying. Another team to stay away from this week, for me, Baltimore Ravens. I know Ravens looked good last week, and I really was kind of teetering on maybe they're a team to pick this week. They're playing the Browns. That's a rivalry game. I know the Browns are not very good, but the Browns are starting to believe in themselves a bit. They came a little close last week with Pittsburgh. I don't think the game was ever fully in doubt, but they hung in there. Even Ben Roethlisberger came out and said, hey, they're pretty good, this team. So I think that Cleveland's going to be a team that competes each and every week. I think they believe in their coach. I think they believe in a lot. Their rookie quarterback, but they believe in a lot of their pieces. Don't sleep on the Browns and automatically assume the Browns stink, so I'm going to throw my pick in on the Ravens. If you're looking for another team to stay away from this week, I'd give you the Carolina Panthers. They're home to the Buffalo Bills. Bills got a win last week. Again, it was against the Jets, so you don't know what that means. But I question Cam Newton's health. He didn't look great last week, even though they won, and I'm big on the Panthers this year. I think they're going to win the division. I am not going to go ahead and utilize them this week. They have some better games down the stretch. And Buffalo's 1-0, so who knows with Buffalo? But Buffalo's that type of team. They might get a few victories. I don't expect they'll make the playoffs at all. But let's steer clear of the Panthers this week. There are better picks on the board. Let me know if you guys are deciding between other teams in the comment section below. Be glad to give you my 2 cents. If you think my picks stink, tell me they stink. I'm totally fine with that as well. And make sure you check out my picks videos against the spread. We were 5-2 against the spread last week. Now we're throwing out 6 more picks in just a little while. So that's going to do it for me for right now. Good luck and survive and thrive.